to good friends, the ones we hold dear, the ones who will tell us what we need to hear, the ones who love us right or wrong, and to all those good friends who give you this song.
Well, hello good friends, and welcome back to The Last Walk, Remember When, with your host, Ron Baumbach. And we're going back in time again to the fun times. It's Easter week. So, get up off your easy chair, walk over to your fridge, get that tall glass filled with those cubes from the tray, and put in some iced tea. And reach up into your cupboard or reach into your Easter basket. Take out that chocolate bunny. Unwrap that silver foil. Sit back in your easy chair. Turn in your lava lamp. Close your eyes. It's storytelling time. The Last Walk is back.
Life is too short. We get only one turn. With luck we find beauty, but we sometimes get burned. But if you've had a true friend, or perhaps love, you've experienced the peace of heaven above.
So friends, it's Easter, Holy Week, and Passover all tied in together. As happened many times in the past, Passover and Easter week, Holy Week, tie in and correlate the same time of the calendar year. Remember as a young child, always being told that we're lucky when Easter falls on Passover, because the Jewish people are the chosen people, and they always got the good weather. So we always look forward to having a nice day, a nice Easter day, because it was Passover as well. What are your memories going back of your Passover, your Easter, your days from the past? The days when you were a child, running to open up your Easter basket, going to bed, really waiting and forward for the Easter Bunny to hop along, visit your home, and leave you that little hat on the edge of your bed. We used to put our hat on the end of our bed, and in the morning, we'd wake up, be filled with that straw, that green coloring, multicolored straw, with the eggs in there, and some candy jelly beans. Then you walk downstairs and find your big Easter basket. It was incredible. It was stuffed with so much sweets, the candy, the jelly beans. I loved those joiva, the halva. We didn't get halva then, but we got halva other times. But we used to get the chocolate-covered eggs. I remember the caramel eggs, the coconut-covered eggs. We had the big bunny with the tin foil around it, and the big bunny in the big tall basket that was all chocolate-covered bunny that was hollow inside. Remember, they kept on saying it's hollow inside. Who wants it hollow? We want this thing full. I want a full piece of chocolate here. I don't want a hollow chocolate. It was really cool. It was fun time getting that. But my favorite thing I got was I called a bolo ball, but it wasn't a bolo ball. It was a paddle ball, which I would sit there play forever, my paddle ball. That ball on the string, and hit the thing back and forth, back and forth. My mom was really good at it. She was the best in the family, and we had these competitions every Easter Sunday on who can hit the ball the longest, have it go without stopping. Did you ever play that game? Ironically, years and years later, every year for Easter, my wife, or the Easter Bunny I should say, gets me my paddle ball. What's your favorite toy from your favorite Easters? What's your favorite thing you remember the most of way back when?
For in your Easter bonnet, with all the frills upon it, you'll be the grandest fellow in the Easter parade.
Did you ever go to the Easter parade? There was a lovely rendition of the Early Berlin song, In Your Easter Bonnet, by none other than Judy Garland from Easter Parade. Written by Early Berlin and published in 1933, Berlin originally wrote the melody in 1917 under the title Smile and Show Your Dimple, as a cheer-up song for a girl whose man had gone off to fight in the First World War. a recording of Smile and Show Your Dimple by Sam Ash. I wonder if he's the same Sam Ash who did the guitars and all that stuff. Enjoyed modest success in 1918. Irving Berlin resurrected it with modifications and new lyrics for the 1933 review as 1,000 Cheers. The song was introduced by Marilyn Miller and Clifton Webb in the Broadway musical review as Thousands Cheer in 1933, in which musical numbers were strung together on the thematic thread of newspaper headlines. Like many of Berlin's songs, it later appeared in films, performed by Don Amici. Remember Don Amici? In Alexander's Ragtime Band in 1938, which was loosely based on Irving Berlin's life. The famous Bing Crosby sang it in the film Holiday Inn in 1942, which featured an Irving Berlin song about each major holiday. In 1948, performed by the wonderful and beautiful Judy Garland and Fred Astaire in the musical film Easter Parade, which was constructed around this song. The song was also featured in the Rankin Bass special, The First Easter Rabbit, in 1976. A famous song. What's your memories of that? Did you ever go to the Easter Parade? My aunt, dear Aunt Estelle, would love to watch the Easter Parade on TV. It was on Fifth Avenue in Manhattan, and we would all gather around on Easter Sunday, and she would want to put on this TV show, and for, 1 hour, they showed the people leaving Mass at St. Patrick's, and they would walk down the Fifth Avenue, women all with their big hats on their head, walking down the street in their Easter bonnets. My Aunt Estelle would always get her hat. She was known to having her big, fancy hats that she loved to wear. What are your memories? What did you wear on Easter Sunday? What do you wear today? We always wore suit and ties. We got dressed up. My sister got dressed up in her prettiest dress. My brothers and I all got dressed in our suit and ties. It was a day of happiness. So why do women wear bonnets, and why do we wear hats on Easter? The tradition appears to have origins in the Christian custom of our Easter, being the time for new clothes after the fasting of Lent, the 40 days of Lent, and the church going to wear your Sunday best, and especially in Easter, which was and is the most important day in our calendar from a religious standpoint, Easter Sunday. Now, the tradition of Easter bonnets started around 1870, when people after the Civil War wanted to relax and were happy that finally this war was over, the war between the states. So they gathered outside of Manhattan. They walked out of St. Patrick's Cathedral and other churches, and they started getting together and walking with their Easter bonnets on. And it grew, and it grew, and it grew. Up to 1 million people attended in this peak in the 1940s, where people gathered on Fifth Avenue. Sadly, it's somewhat dwindled now over the years, and only about 30,000 people gather to walk and wear and share the love of their Easter bonnet as they walk down Fifth Avenue. Have you ever done that? You ever taken a stroll down Fifth Avenue in your Easter bonnet with all the frills upon it?
Here comes Peter Cottontail, hopping down the bunny trail. Hippity hoppity, Easter's on its way.
Now, I don't know about you, but when Peter Cottontail came to my house, besides candy, he brought the eggs. And I wonder, where did this come from, the story of eggs, where it began? Well, researching Wikipedia, which I know I love, it goes back in time to rituals in ancient time. Going back 60,000 years ago, they found engraved ostrich eggs in Africa. Also in periods of Egypt and cultures in Mesopotamia and Crete, eggs were associated with death and rebirth, as well as kinship, with decorated ostrich eggs and representations of ostrich eggs in gold and silver. They were commonly placed in the graves of the ancient Sumerians and Egyptians as early as 5,000 years ago. Now, the Christian custom of Easter eggs specifically started among the early Christians of Mesopotamia, who stained the eggs with red coloring in memory of the blood of Christ shed at his crucifixion. The Christian Church officially adopted the custom regarding the eggs as a symbol of the resurrection of Jesus with the Roman ritual. The first edition was published in 1610, which has text of a much older date, containing among the Easter blessings of food, one for eggs, along with those for lamb, bread, and new produce. The blessing is a consumption as a food, rather than for decoration. Now, the Easter egg tradition may have merged into the celebration at the end of the privations of Lent in the West. Historically, it was traditional to use up all the household eggs before Lent began, Ash Wednesday. Eggs were originally forbidden during Lent, as well as on other traditional fast days in Western Christianity. This tradition still continues among Eastern Christian churches. I guess they thought it was like a meat type of thing, like a Friday with meat. Likewise, in Eastern Christianity, meat, eggs, and dairy are all prohibited during the Lenten fast. This established the tradition of Pancake Day, being celebrated on Shrove Tuesday. This day, the Tuesday before Ash Wednesday, when Lent begins, is also known as Mardi Gras, a French phrase which translates as Fat Tuesday to mark the last consumption of eggs and dairy before Lent begins. Now, during Lent, since chickens would not stop producing eggs during the time, a larger than usual store might have been available at the end of the fast. This surplus, if any, had to be eaten quickly to prevent spoiling. Then, with the coming of Easter, the eating of eggs resumed. Some families cook a special meatloaf with eggs in it to be eaten with the Easter dinner. And then they started coloring the eggs, making them fun for all the kiddies. I have videos of my kids coloring Easter eggs. Remember me coloring eggs with my sister and my brothers way back when, and now we love doing it with the grandkids. Do you color eggs? What's your favorite color? Are you really good at getting them to be beautiful? Mine stink. I have always tried to put them in the vinegar with a different color dye, and I always mix them up together. And at the end of the day, they all come out looking the same way, like one big smudge of color. Who's the best one in your family who colored the eggs? Did you put those sticky things on? Did you use that white crayon to write the names of all the people in the family? What's your best memory of your making Easter eggs?
Here's to good friends, the ones we hold dear, the ones who will tell us what we need to hear, the ones who love us, right or wrong, and to all those good friends who give you this song.
But the real meaning of the season, and the reason we get together, and the reason we have a solemn week called Holy Week, and then an Easter week, the following week of celebration and joy, is one reason alone. Yes, for us, especially Catholics and Christians, I guess, the most important day of the year, as I mentioned, is Easter Sunday, celebrating the resurrection of Jesus after his crucifixion on the cross, which leads me to a song I always hear on Good Friday, which I really enjoy.